Now, the services provided by civil service cover almost all sectors of Ghana's economy and can be categorized into two broad areas. First is the administrative services and infrastructural services. The administrative, regulatory and advisory services, government and stakeholders ranging from the issuance of licenses, permits, certificates, training and sensitization to engage in international negotiations on behalf of government. The technical and infrastructural services also involve building of dams, roads, bridges, markets, schools, hospitals, waste management systems and projects, etc. Ultimately, the effective delivery of these and many other services should, as a matter of consequence, result in socio-economic transformation and promote inclusive development. So now, the contributions of the civil service to economic transformation. Economic transformation normally involves a range of elements aimed at improving the efficiency, effectiveness, and responsiveness of government institutions in driving economic growth and development. The strategies to achieve this may vary from country to country. Ghana's economic strategy since the promulgation of the 1992 Constitution has focused on macroeconomic stabilization and structural reform foundationed on, and I quote, a framework of government that secures for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. And this is captured in the preamble of the Fourth Republican Constitution. Now, the phrase securing for ourselves and posterity should mean the exploitation of the resources of this country in a sustainable way to provide for ourselves today and the unborn generations. The blessings, and I'm quoting what is contained in the preamble, the blessings of liberty that we enjoy and hope to enjoy are captured in Chapter 5 of the Constitution, which is the fundamental human rights and freedoms, as well as also contained in Chapter 6, the directive principles of state policy. The equality of opportunity and prosperity ensues from the universality of education and access to services as provided by Articles 25 of the Constitution and 38 of the Constitution. Evolving, implementing, monitoring, reviewing policies and programs to achieve these are the remit of the civil service staff. Civil service reform forms a quintessential part of good governance. For instance, in India, the civil service has long been regarded as, quote, the steel frame of administration to promote socio-economic development. The pseudonym steel frame reflects the ubiquitous role played by the civil service to support the development of India. As stated earlier, the civil service plays an instrumental role in converting the government policies into plans, programs, and projects to enhance the livelihoods of the citizenry. Policy interventions by the civil service is vital in a country committing to achieving employment for the youth, satisfactory rate of growth, stable inflation, healthy balance of payments, increased productivity and production, and equitable distribution of resources. This would ensure that the state attains even and balanced development. And I'm quoting, the state attains even and balanced development of all regions of Ghana, and in particular, improving the conditions of life in the rural areas and redressing any imbalances in development between the rural and urban areas. And it is captured in Article 36(2) of 2D of the 1992 Republican Constitution. This certainly would also serve to protect the unity if the country is equitably developed, especially the rural areas, imbalances between the rural and urban areas are decapitated. That certainly will serve to protect the unity and stability of our nation as envisaged once again by the preamble of the Constitution. Again, the world is rapidly changing and has been characterized by increasing technology and innovation. However, addressing developmental challenges such as increasing population, high unemployment, low industrial productivity, food insecurity, poverty, climate change, and biodiversity loss, plastic pollution, among others, requires a professional and dedicated civil service staff to manage. The timely intervention of the civil service throughout the public policy cycle would prove invaluable in supporting Ghana to achieve its national sustainable development priorities and contribute to the 2030 transformative agenda of leaving no one behind. Now, in order to sustain the developmental trajectory, there is the need to constantly introduce reforms in the institutional and service delivery standards of the service. And the introduction and the review of these reforms should be cyclical in such a manner as to be able to monitor the effectiveness and indeed the efficaciousness of the reforms that are introduced. Additionally, we expect the civil service to sharpen its agility, deepen its quest for innovations, and enhance the capacity of its staff to be much more proactive and bold in discharging their obligations to the state. The Constitution, in this regard, offers a fireball ring fence where it provides in Article 192, quoting, a member of the public service, which the civil service is part of, shall not be and that is the 192, Article 192A, shall not be victimized or discriminated against for having discharged his duties faithfully in accordance with this Constitution. It is imperative for the civil service staff to be on top of their game and be very conversant with key policy frameworks and tools. What are supposed to be the tools? If you have to position yourselves to be able to properly advise government on the transformative agenda of government. First, the basic constitutional framework that provides us with the framework of government for our development is the budget. So the civil servants ought to acquaint themselves with the contents of the budget. Then, following that, will be the budget statement and economic policy of the government. You might have participated in shaping and involving the various matters contained in the budget statement from your various sectors, including in particular the ministries, departments, and agencies. So you must acquaint yourself with the budget statement and economic policy of government. The second is the strictures contained in the message on the state of the nation pursuant to Article 67. But whereas Article 67 merely says that the president shall deliver to the nation on a yearly basis a message on the state of the nation, what are the contents of that message? It's not provided for under Article 67. So you march to Article 34 of the Constitution, and you see what is there, what the president is supposed to report on. Now, you should also be conversant with the manifesto of any ruling party. And then the coordinated program of economic and social development policies, as well as international treaties, conventions, and protocols, among others. Specifically, the following 8 elements are critical in repositioning the civil service to anchor and engineer the much-needed economic transformation. One is institutional reforms, which involves the restructuring and reorganization of civil service institutions to enhance their capacity and effectiveness in supporting economic development. The second is capacity building. You cannot live without that. The development of a skilled and knowledgeable civil service to underget policy formulation, implementation, and evaluation. You should be building your own capacities. The world is not stable, the economy is not stable, and should be abreast with current developments elsewhere on the continent, in the sub-region, and even in the world. So that when you advise, when you proffer policy options, you yourself will be relevant and would have added value to yourselves. Policy development and implementation. Of course, that can only happen when it's predicated on rigorous research, analysis of data, and providing evidence-based policy recommendations to promote sustainable economic growth that has implication for job creation and poverty reduction. We need this because oftentimes, and Patrick is here, government in presenting budget for the ensuing year, the statistics and data that will be available to government will be, and the Constitution provides for the budget statement to be presented to Parliament at least 1 month before the expiry of that year. So November 30th will be the end period for the Ministry of Finance to ferry the document to Parliament. So they come in November. And when they come in November, the data and statistics available to them will be up to half year. If they are lucky, they may get July, August. Certainly not September, October, or even the reporting month of November. So until government then comes with the review of the budget into the ensuing year, which will be July, and even when they come in July, they may not even have the full complement of statistics and data meant to support the budget. And a lot depends on the civil servants. So where are we? Mr. Head. So when I say that we need to build capacity and also have policy development and implementation,